Hello, all my crafty people out there. It is time for this week's project, and we are going to be trying all kinds of new things. If you haven't been here before, my name is Stephanie, and I upcycle clothing, generally thrifted from my local stores. And sometimes we make more clothing, and sometimes we make accessories. Today is an accessory day. So I have thrifted this nice black belt. It was $2.99. It's leather. It's been worn, and it's nice and warm, but it's nice and supple, which is what I'm looking for. And, hold please, this. I haven't seen anything like this in a while. Yes, it's leather, all leather. It was regularly $6.49, and I got it for $1.50 on $1.50 day, and boy, what a steal. It's extra large. It fits, but it has no give, so it's hard to get on, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, let's see what we make with this. If you like this kind of content, if you want to see what ends up happening, by all means, follow along, like, subscribe. Don't forget to share, and I'll see y'all at the table. Okay, here is our leather shirt / coat. It's this pretty kind of burnt orange color, and it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but I thought it would be really cute to cut up as a hip bag for festivals and just wearing around. I don't carry a purse. Hadn't carried a purse for over 20 years. But I do like to have something to put my keys in and my phone in if I don't have pockets on my jeans, especially in festivals. And again, this is going to be part of the process too. I'm going to put a link in the description below that shows where I got this. This was a free pattern. I didn't pay anything for it. And I've never worked with leather before. We are going to be sewing this on the machine. I did buy some leather cement or glue that we'll use on the flap. But other than that, we're going to be sewing it, and we'll see how it goes. First thing I'm going to have to do, though, is place these where I want them to be cut. And I might have to have a seam in this one because it's a big piece. And I don't know if I've got a piece that's not seamed enough for that. But regardless, this is our priority because it's the big piece. And I'm going to be using our good old chalk marker because I think, well, obviously you can't pin it because you can't put holes in it. But we can chalk around it and then cut it out. And we also can use our binder clips if we need to when it comes to sewing. Not binder clips, our wonder clips or whatever when it comes to sewing and keeping the pieces together. So I've tried the sewing machine out. We're going to be setting it at 4mm stitch length. And I'm using upholstery thread, which means my machine won't auto thread it, not completely. And it also won't cut it because it's too much for it. But we'll get to the machine soon enough. Let me get to marking this out, cutting it out, and we'll get started. Okay, I got all the pieces cut out. 2 of the main body of the bag. This is the gusset that'll go around the bottom and make it, full. This is the pocket, which in this case, and most times when we use fabric, we would have just made those marks and then folded them and sewn them together. Of course, this is leather, works a little different. This is the pocket facing, and these are the 2 pockets. Now, the shirt had a design in it, and it had beads on it, but the beads were sharp, so I took them off. So this is the the pocket, there'll be two pieces sewn together for it, and they'll also be glued together. And then these two pieces will be the pieces that fold the ends over. This will be the part that connects the belt to the whole thing. But what we've got to do now, I'm going to take one of these pieces here. What we've got to do now is figure out where our zipper is going to be. And we only need to put this in one side, the front side. Now, one thing to consider is what side of your body this pack's going to lay on. I like everything on my left side, just the way I like it. So I'm going to have this on my left side. If it's going to be on my left side, I want the zipper to go from this direction to the back. So I'm going to go from front to back with the zipper. This is a 6-inch zipper. This is a 5.5-inch hole. Do the math. So I'm going to have to take some teeth off in order to make this work, because I sure as heck don't want to put my machine over these metal teeth. Now I'm employing some specialist tools here. I got these right out of my husband's toolbox. They're just pliers, but they have this, they're flush on this side, and then you can see down in that side. I don't know what specialty tool they are, but I've seen some people do this different ways. In this particular case, I know I need to at least go to this white line here. It's not much of a line anymore. But so I'm taking the teeth off one at a time from the back, the bottom. And honestly, I'm just pulling them off. You can pinch them and pull at them. But pulling them seems to do the job. And it doesn't rip your zipper tape. So just go from side to side and pull as many teeth off as you need, knowing where you don't want to have to sew on top of them. So once I get all the teeth off that I want, then I'll be able to attach it. But I got to cut this hole out, and this is a hole that will show, so you want to be very careful with it. You want it to be very straight. I'm going to try to use my X-Acto knife. Not very good with this thing. I'm a scissors girl, but we're going to give it a whirl, as long as I don't tear up my board too much. And open that up, and you're supposed to use tape back here. I don't have any of this leather tape. I have the glue, so I'm going to see if I can put a thin line of the glue on either side to hold the zipper in place so I can stitch it down. That's a lot of moving parts to explain, but let me go finish taking my teeth off first. That just didn't sound right. Okay, I think I got enough teeth pulled. My zipper is the right length to fit in here, and I am going to use my X-Acto knife directly in here in this opening. Good luck to me. Again, usually a scissors girl, so this is something different. I think I could do a better job with the scissors myself. Just pop that out like that. And then I'll clean up the edges once I'm through. Make sure it's all clean. Just needs a little clean up right there. That's not too bad. And maybe right there. If I can get my scissors under it. Okay. That's not bad. Not a professional leather job, but not bad. So then we'll see how our scissors are, how our zipper is going to fit in there. So we'll pull the tab out, and it's going to fit right like that. And again, this is a new experiment for me, so I may find it better to practice a little more with my knife. Okay, I let this glue dry overnight, and I went ahead and stitched around the edge. I could have probably done a prettier job of it, but I'm new to this, so we'll see how it goes. But it opens and closes properly. It's a pretty stout zipper, so it's thick, but it does do what I want it to do. So the next thing we need to do is make the pocket that's going to go on the front here. And unlike fabric, we've already got the notches cut out, so we're just going to wrong sides together. Well, actually, it's right sides together. We're going to bend these and just sew across them, just like we would maybe in a tote where we're making the corners. That's a way you can make corners. So we're going to sew across both of those ends and make the little pocket. And the seams will be on the inside. Although leather work, it doesn't, I don't know, you can have them on the outside, but we're going to have ours on the inside. Okay, I've got the little pocket made. Just sewed those two darts on the inside. So now it's a pocket with shape. And we need to put, it's got an interior lining piece here. I would imagine partly for stabilization, and then partly for looks, obviously. So this will be glued down. And once I glue it down, I will stitch around the edges. I found the other night that I didn't have to leave it for the whole night. So I won't be having to leave that all night. I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to apply the snap before, so it gives it time to dry before I go stitch it down. And then we'll be applying it to the actual bag itself. So a little bit of glue, just like the other night. And honestly, it doesn't take much of this stuff, so be fair warned. Okay, I got the top glued on, and I'm letting it dry a bit. It won't take long, and I'll sew it down before we put it on the rest of the bag. But I had to find the center of my pocket, so I folded it in half. And then it recommended about an inch, inch and a half up from this crease. So that's where I went, and I gauged it by putting it down here and kind of deciding how the pocket would fold over it, that kind of thing. This is kind of a guessing game. So now I've made two holes, and this is the bottom of my magnet piece. It's the heavier piece. I always put that on this part, and then the flap gets the lighter piece. I think that's the way it's supposed to go. So I'm going to put this through very carefully. I didn't cut the holes very big because I want it to be tight. And so now I've got those through. All right. Now my snap is almost secured. I got to put the back piece on it. This little piece. Whoops, right here. And I've also got to put something to kind of help stabilize it. So I'm going to put this extra leather piece on it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the little back piece on it. And I'm going to, once again, give it a little cut. Kind of crunches when it cuts. It's kind of weird. And let's see if I got holes there. I think I do. Just push those down. Like I said, I want it to be kind of tight, so I didn't make them super big. Even the back piece doesn't need to be super tight. And of course, I'm stretching it a little bit because it's tough. Working with leather is a different animal than working with fabric, for sure. There we go. Now I've got the little extra piece on it. See, like that. And then we'll put our plate down. And we'll just bend it over. It's your preference. I usually go in, but some people go out. Honestly, I don't think it matters. It just depends if you, I guess, what you put behind it. In this particular case, we won't be putting anything behind it. So it's whichever gives you more flush effect. So there's our snap on the bottom half of our pocket. Okay, I stitched down the top of the lining to the little pouch that goes on the front, the pocket. Now, I need to attach it to this, the front of the bag. And what's recommended is using this two-sided tape. And I found it's a Singer brand. I think Dirt's puts it out too. I just couldn't find one narrow enough. I only wanted about 1/4 inch. So, let's see if I can do this. Okay, I got the pocket on, and I haven't been torturing y'all with any of the sewing because it's straight stitching. It is a challenge. I have to put clear tape on the bottom of my foot because I don't have a nylon foot. If you can get a nylon foot, I recommend it. And I'm using 4mm stitch length, but it is just straight stitching, so it's not that exciting. Okay, I've got my flap all done. The snap, I've sewn around the edge. Again, these are just straight stitches, so I'm not really worried about you seeing that on film. Like I said, Gusset's going to be the tricky one. Now what I need to do is I need to put it on the bag like this. And I'm going to put tape down behind the back here and sew it down so when it's sewn down, it'll fold over like this and it won't show the seam. So once again to our two-sided tape, and maybe I'll get a little better at this. Okay, got the flap on. Again, this was just a straight stitch across this part, and this is what we end up with. It's turning out pretty cute, if I must say so myself. Now we got to put the gusset in. So I have found the center point on the back of the bag, the inside, and I found it on the wrong side of the gusset part. And what we're going to have to do is put tape along here and fit it into the front of the bag and sew it down. It says within 1/2 inch of the top edge of the gusset, so we're going to see what that means exactly. Okay, here's the gusset process. I have put the tape one all the way around and also pinned it with these Wonder clips because, yeah, it's a curve. So I think that it meets well on the front and the back. So we're good. And I marked the 1/2 inch mark. It says to stop a 1/2 inch before the top of the gusset. So I've not done this before, so that's what I'm going to stop at. We're going to see what that does. It's going to be a challenge. We'll see. I put the tape around the inside of the gusset, and that's so I can attach the other side of the bag. So I'm going to peel this off, make sure it's real secure, and then again attach the back side and sew just like I did the front. And I'm probably going to use my little clips again too, just to make sure that stays. Okay, I'll admit I was concerned about the whole gusset thing. But essentially what happens is you sew up to a 1/2 inch at the end of the gusset there. You see the little end of the gusset there? You sew a 1/2 inch up, and then when you close up the rest of the bag, you're going to sew 1 inch down from the top of that gusset. So you can start your stitching down here and go all the way around to close up the rest of the bag. So it turns out rather neat. Now it does suggest putting some glue in here if you're, and I may do that as well. I might just put a little glue there and let that dry, but essentially you're catching the end of the gusset when you come 1 inch down and go up around. Okay, we're on the last steps. And what I did is I folded over that corner over the, I'm using a rectangular closure ring, but you could use a D-ring. I just thought this would run a little smoother. So I'm pushing it over here and I'm folding it down 2 inches. I made sure that I was folding both of them down the same amount. I don't want it to be different, obviously. So 2 inches, and I just decided to put a clip on it just to hold it in place for right now. And I'm going to make sure that this one again is 2 inches. It is. So I'm putting that clamp on there. Now I have stitched down the entire bag, and like I said, the gusset did not turn out to be as bad as I thought it would. I was all worried for nothing. Now I found these at Hobby Lobby. They have these little screw backs. So they come apart like this. And you punch a hole in, push them down, and then you screw the back in. So I have a hole puncher. Kind of a handy dandy dual thing, cool tool. But I don't use it very often. Because I don't do a lot of leather work. Or I don't do any leather work. So I'm going to kind of gauge where I want this. I'm going to take my clip off. And I'm going to see if I can push it down and make an impression. Voila! Alright, there's my impression. So now I'm going to put this on here and I'm going to punch my hole. I'm going to go. Now you can do this with an awl. I just want to make sure I'm getting in the right spot. Sorry, my chicken alarm's going off. Gotta go put the girls up. I gotta change that chicken alarm now that we fast forwarded in time. Alright, that punched a the hole through both sides. So now I just take my piece here. I'm going to put it through one side. And then I'm going to put the other side through it. I've still got my ring on there. You didn't have to have that on the whole time you were punching the hole, but you know. And then you take your little screw and you screw it into the back of that. I don't know what they call these, but you can find them in the leather section at Hobby Lobby. And now I'm going to put the other one on, and then we're going to put the belt on. We're going to have to cut it, but we're going to put it on as the belt. Yeah, there you go. Okay, our bag is finished. Got our D-rings on it. And no, it's not perfectly symmetric, which my husband pointed out. But it's handmade, and it does fit what I want it to do. So now we got to put the belt on it. Now the belt is thicker than I was thinking, because it's pretty flexible, but it's still thick. So it's going to be a challenge. The first thing I did was put it on and determine how much of this end I wanted to use for the buckle. And I got an idea that I need about 10 inches so I can fold so many of those inches over. And I just started using the X-Acto blade or whatever this is, kind of just taking my time. Okay, now that I've got the belt cut, the first part cut to the length I want, I'm just going to take it doesn't matter if it can write on it or not. I mean, if it can, that's great. But I'm just making some dots where I want my two rivets to go. And I'm going to be using these little rivets. They're a lot like these parts where they have a little screw-in bottom. And they come in a couple of different sizes, but I measured this one. I think this one will fit through both ends of the leather and be able to screw in together. So anyway, we just need to make the holes. And I thought if I started at this end, then I could turn it over and gauge where I want the other two. Maybe that would be easier. I don't think it matters. You could do it either way. I was just trying to make it a little more feasible. Flipped it all over. It'll look like that. So, pretty cool. Alright, let me go tighten the screws down. I'm going to measure my second one. Put it on and then or put it on here. Same way. And then we'll try it on. Okay, everybody. I got my little side hip pouch done. I'm pretty excited about it. I've never done anything like this with leather. It was a perfect opportunity. What was that shirt? $1.50. So we got the interior pocket there. And we have the exterior pocket with the little snap. Little magnetic snap. And we used a belt that was probably not going to be used for anything anymore. So, hope y'all liked it. This was a fun, different accessory kind of project. And I think you could do it with a lot of things. You wouldn't have to do it with leather. You could modify this to work with fabric. Or you could work with leather, like something with a more polished finish. That would make it easier. This was a challenge. I had to set my stitch length at 4, and I had to put some tape underneath my foot, but if you could get a nylon foot, that would probably work even better. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Don't forget to share. I'll see y'all on the flip side of our next project.